This is the part that I kind of think is the most fun. I always learn something literally every time about the person or about their teachings or their work. It's really fun for me. So I hope so for you all as well. What I'm going to ask you is, what do you have for questions for John? We're going to do a little Q&A section now. And whatever questions that you have for him, please type in the chat box and I'll be able to go through and read them out loud for John. And while you all are thinking, because I know it takes a second to think of a question and then type it out, I've got one I'd love to know. And this is mean, John. This is a meanie question of me,
Uh-uh.
but it's just a little bit. It's a little bit. What would you say if you had to? And if you can't, and there's a reason for that, then that's a perfectly acceptable answer. But if you had to choose your favorite chapter, what one do you think it would be? Chapter or concept? I'll make it a little easier.
Yeah, I still come back to, I think, kind of where I really appreciate everybody being here tonight is it's the power of brief. I think having those cross-functional teams where everybody has a slightly different perspective, a slightly different lens, is just so powerful because that diverse thought and really coming together towards a common goal and vision, to me, that's really kind of my favorite part, and it's also some of the favorite part of with the folks that are here tonight that we've had some great team experiences, great opportunities to work together.
Love it. Love that. Love that. Truly. David would like to know what inspired you to embark on this project.
One of the things that was really interesting, I had a great opportunity to kind of take a reflection and look at, over the years, the ability to really help start up multiple new businesses at Gore and work through multiple industries. And seeing that common pattern of the innovation structure, the approach to business was just a great way to hopefully share some of the learnings and help other, entrepreneurs, executive teams really be able to take a process and implement it to drive new value.
Amazing. Okay. We've got two questions, two separate, there's four questions, but there are two questions underlying are the same question. So I'm just going to kind of, just so you all know, I'm not skimming through your questions. I'm going to ask in a way that answers both. Okay. So this is actually one I'm plucking out of absolutely nowhere. I'm not going in order. Hart said, "Congratulations, John. How does it feel?" That's a good question. I had to ask.
It's really it's kind of wild. It feels a little surreal, especially being able to capture some of the thoughts and to actually have this many folks here to support. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Love it. How did you come up with the topic for your book? From Kenneth.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I think one of the things that really drove is having that really kind of a most of my career focused on starting at new businesses and then implementing it and working with the teams to do that was just such a great journey. And that's where I really thought sharing some of that with the community would be helpful for, trying to give other folks the insights. And it is a bumpy journey. It's a mix of science and art. So it is definitely quite the journey. So that was the I'd say the driving force behind it.
Awesome. Love it. So this is a three-part question. I was gonna say tripod question, but I don't think that makes sense. How long did the entire process take? What was the most challenging and what was the most rewarding?
It was really interesting. This is where I have to give a shout out to Game Changer Publishing. In terms of the journey, it was way easier than maybe I expected. But I would also say what helped was actually having that clear thought of what I wanted to convey. So the fact that I was able to have that clear thought, really working then with the team was phenomenal. The process, you know, I think once I actually went from exploring to execution was less than 6 months, but the actual process of writing, creating, and working with a Game Changer Publishing was like literally probably close to 3 months, 3.5 months, I think.
You ran with it. We have a process, and you were diligent though. It takes a lot of energy and effort and time to meet our deadlines. If you have that goal of doing it, good for you, 'cause listen, we don't have to have people go through the process that way, but it's available to people who have that gumption, and you certainly did. You certainly did. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Amazing. Yeah. You're good stuff, John.